Hi guys, and welcome to FORGE WRIGHT. Glad you could join me. As you may or may not be aware, I've injured my hand and am out of action in the forge or in the workshop as far as doing any real work. So I haven't got a video that is manufacturing some sort of fabrication tool. I'm halfway through my project working on, well actually I'm more than halfway through. I'm probably 4/5 of the way through making my guillotine tool, or as you guys in America say, guillotine tool, each to their own. So I'm 3/4 of the way through that-ish. Got to make some dies, got to do a bit of welding, but most of it's constructed. But as I say, I'm not up to that sort of work with my hands, so I thought I'd give you a bit of an update on a tool that I made earlier, which was part of the series of tools required to make your own hammers. And that tool was my bolster. So the bolster that I made to protect the cheeks of the hammer whilst you're drifting out the hammer eye and forging out the cheeks and things like that. You need to be able to readjust the eye as you go. And I made a small bolster out of a piece of 4140 forklift tine. So that was only just a small piece that sat either on the anvil or anywhere you wanted to put it to work on your drifting block or something like that. And I actually drifted that tool through on my drifting block that I've got over here. But I have had a couple of comments about how I'm going to keep it from bouncing around and end up flying across the room and on the floor and things like that. And I'd been thinking about that as I was making it, but didn't get around to putting that into the video. It was more about making the bolster. Well, I've upgraded that bolster now, and I just wanted to fill you in on what I've done. So I'll grab the tool, and this is the end result. So you can see I've got the original bolster here, and that's just the two lumps for the cheeks to sit in. They're probably a bit narrow, and I might make another one in the future. This might be better off for, I don't know, it might work. I'll see how I go with it when I start forging out some hammers. But I've put on these bars across here, which are just, I've taken out a little bit of the base of it so that they sat inside there, and then I could weld them all the way around this edge as well as on this top side, and did the same on the other side, and they extend out. I've put in a couple of little bends there to be able to lift them with, and then welded on two little 25 by 25 mil, inch by inch hardy shanks. Now, you might say, well, that's no bloody good, they're not going to go in there. And clearly it's not, but it's not designed to go in there, because I won't be drifting using this drift up here, because that's an inch hole, and I need a drift that goes through a bigger hole. So as you would have seen, if you've seen my other videos, if you haven't, go back and check them out. I've got a drifting block over here that I made, and you can watch that video as well, and it actually fits into that. So I'll cut here and go over to showing you some footage of the actual drifting block and how this fits in. Righto, so I originally had it, I'll just grab that and pull that out of there. Grinding dust everywhere. I originally had this just sitting in here, but having used it the other day to make my hammer bolster, I found that it was jumping about too much. So I've made a little adaptation where I've put these metal plates along the end there, and as you can see now, it's much more solid on there, so that's a really handy upgrade to the tool. So that's just that one. It can't be just pulled out like I intended it to be in the first place, but I don't think I'm going to be using the other side of it anyway, so I figured I'd use this side of it. I've got the two 25 mil shanks, hardy shank holes here, and the larger hole which I can chew out eventually over time. So the thing I wanted to show was the upgrade to my hammer cheek bolster. This little tool. And what that does is allows me to drop that down in there so that when I get myself my hammer like so to work on and I'm knocking my drift through, it doesn't move about, so I can put that hammer blank on there, get my drift and hit it, and know that this thing here is not going to go flying around the workshop everywhere and end up on the floor all the time. So just wanted to give that little video there to show the new improved drifting block and drifting bolster for making hammers with. Well, there you have it, the little upgrade to one of my tools. Hope you enjoyed the short little video. You probably thought that was better than the longer videos that I usually put out, but not much content in this really, so it doesn't take very long to sort. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it the thumbs up. Maybe if you haven't subscribed to the channel in the future, once I get my hand back in shape, I'll be producing a bunch more videos. I like to try and do at least one video a week, but sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And yeah, so subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.